Talk about a real talker. My goodness, they don't come any better than Deborah Norville. I mean, Inside Edition, a professional journalist. You are just someone who's done it all, and I'm so happy you're here tonight, Deborah.
I'm thrilled for your show, first of all. But you're right, I talk for a living. Now, one thing Liz didn't mention is something that grown-ups need to think about, and they're calling it tech neck. We're staring down like this, we're all getting these horrible wrinkles on our neck.
That's
because
a problem.
we also are just as guilty as those kids on the park bench looking at our devices too much.
Well, you know, it is a problem. You see it every day with your work. But, you know, on a personal level, I mean, let's talk about how it really hits home. You have a lovely family. Your husband, Carl, and you have 3 beautiful children. We have a picture, in fact, when they were just a little younger. I love this photograph of you. But I wanted to ask you, how have you dealt with the whole issue of
Well, I completely endorse what Jeff Gardier said in the piece. At the dinner table, it's dinner. And since our kids were big enough to sit at the table, and there they are, and this is about the age, and the little one there in the middle is my daughter, Michaela, and at about that age, she would be at the dinner table, if she could stay in the high chair and not fall out. And the deal was you were at the dinner table, you had the napkin in your lap, we used good china and silver and candles, and we didn't eat out of buckets.
So
we ate on plates.
Talking.
And dinner was an occasion, because to me, I think a family dinner, and there's research that backs this up, families that have dinner together as many nights a week as they can have a stronger family unit. There is less stress measured in these families, and kids do become better able to make those kinds of connections because they practice that dying art of conversation.
So when you tried, and you did successfully take away the technology, they didn't complain.
Oh, are you kidding me? It was like war. Mom, give it back.
Oh.
I remember one time my son was in high school and he had 3 buddies there, and they were all watching a game, or so I thought, on TV, and they've all got their laptops in their lap. This was before everybody was on cell phones. I said, what are you guys doing? They said, we're talking. I said, to who? It's silent in here. Each other, because they were all going like that. And I went smack, smack, smack. I closed the 3 laptops. They were furious, but I said, if you're going to talk, use your mouth.
Use your mouth. Deborah, you know, we like to look for solutions on this problem. You know, we like to find out, what can we do as parents, as individuals? Where do we go? Do we start at home? Do we work into the schools? How do we solve some of this issue of not communicating?
Well, I think one of the big things is we start at home, and it's interesting. I did some research knowing that we were talking about this, and a few years ago Carnegie Mellon did a survey where they looked at families who had never been exposed to the internet. They had 98 families, and they measured what happened in those families during the first 2 years that they were exposed to the internet, using email, using web search. And what they found was the levels of loneliness increased, the levels of depression increased, and their social connections decreased. This is not good. This is empirical data that shows us when you spend too much time on technology, you become isolated and your circle becomes smaller. And that's not what a connected world is supposed to be about.
You know what? We're talking about it now. Programs like this and the things that you do on Inside Edition, the same thing, raising that awareness level so people think about it, talk about it, and eventually do something about it.
Yeah, it's okay. You know, Nancy Reagan got a lot of flack when she said, just say no. But as a mom, I've said it a lot. I'm still standing here, living and breathing. It didn't kill me, didn't kill my kids. Maybe it's not a bad word for us all to use.
Deborah, let's keep doing it, okay?
I look forward to it.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Ernie.
All right.